What's up, everybody? I've got to, if I'm gonna be doing these, I've got to get a better setup. Right now, I'm just using my cell phone to record, so it's kind of a pain in the butt to flip around. But show you a little bit of Helicon stacking. I'm sure if you know what Helicon is, you probably mess with it a little bit. But I'm just gonna go through a basic setup, how I go to get a photo stacked and export it to Photoshop. I'm gonna flip it around, show you my screen. Alright guys, I've already got my images loaded up. It's 129 shots, not as bad as I thought it was. But to load images up, you just hit this little plus. You'll select your images, and your very first image will pop up, which you can see how out of focus that is. I'm sure there's some point in our focus that looks like it's in focus there, but yeah, it'll just, I believe it's the very first or the last one that's on the stack that it'll pull up first. Everybody settings are different. Some people use down a radius to 2, and some people use a radius up to 14, 15. These are the settings I've just found works best for me. The smoothing is kind of how it blends the stacks together, each photo, and the radius is actually the area to detect focus. So the further down you drop that, the more detailed your images are going to be. But the thing that I find whenever I drop this radius down is I get a lot of, I call it glow, kind of glow around the RDA that I have to go in and clean up, which is no big deal, but the added detail, I don't find that it adds that much detail to have to add that amount of work. So my settings, I have found that 13.3 works the best, and I use method B. A lot of people use method C, and it stacks faster, and the ghosting does seem to be a little bit better, but it is a hair noisier. I've never had good luck with method C, and it's probably just my lighting, but I just never had good luck with it, so I started with B. But that's basically it. You load it in, and you'll hit render, and you'll let it sit here. It'll take off. It'll probably take this stack 2 or 3 minutes. Too long for sure to sit here and watch, but you'll watch it start popping up. The white area is what's in focus, as it's detecting focus. It'll just keep popping up, and by the time it gets done, you'll see the whole RDA, whited out real bright, and then you'll see some areas back here that's just kind of light glow that it's pulling in. It'll go away once the full image is popped up, but it's usually pretty quick. I stack JPEG also. On super macro stuff, I'll shoot RAW, but I really don't notice any details, any more detail versus JPEG versus RAW. The only difference is being able to edit more in depth. Shoot RAW, you can pull shadows a lot more before they start pixelating on you. So some people prefer RAW, but if this was a RAW stack, it would take us about 15 minutes to stack. So I just shoot JPEG. I get the quality that I'm happy with, and it's perfectly acceptable. I mean, we're all looking at images on a phone screen anyways. 90% of people don't zoom in, so the detail is perfectly acceptable. It's almost done. Once it goes all the way white, it'll start going back through it, and then it'll start filling in the picture. You should see it just about any time. It's almost to the bottom of the stack. There it goes. Now it'll start filling it in. And this is the fast part. And this is the part that is interesting to watch. You can watch the focus. See if I can get this thing to focus on the screen. You can actually watch it come in. And it's just pretty neat. I got a window in the background here that is glaring my computer screen. Sorry about that. But there you go. Now you can start to see that focus start to pop in there. It is pretty neat. As you can see, the focus comes in there. I went in pretty small increments. You can go even smaller than that. And but yeah, those increments are pretty small, and they'll fill in all the way out. You can, like I said, you can see the detail, and I'm shooting onto a computer screen, so pretty neat to watch a stack happen. And then it'll be done. It's almost done. And then we'll kind of, I just started using the retouch feature in Helicon. It's a pretty neat feature for sometimes stacks just don't stack right. And you'll have to go in, you can touch it up, and it's a little easier to do it here than it is in Photoshop on some stuff. Photoshop does an excellent job, but this does good too. This little red flag down here, I always get this red flag. It just means the lighting, the exposure was different. It wasn't consistent all the way through there. I always get this flag. Whenever I get this flag, I consider it A+. That means it was a good stack. Sometimes I don't get it, and most of the time when I don't get it, I'm not happy with the stack. So when I see a little red flag up there, I'm pretty confident that my image is fine. But you can zoom in here, and I always look for sometimes the stack won't stack quite right, and there'll be anomalies in here. So I always try to at least look through the coil and make sure there's not something that just jumps out. Like that right there. See that little area right there? I don't know why sometimes Helicon does that, but we'll go fix that. It's right there. We'll go fix it right now. You go up here to your retouching tab. You go to retouch. I'm going to zoom in. Right there where that little area was. Right there. See that little area? Alright, so now here's the aggravating part. You got to go over here into the outer focus portion. Now you got to zoom down or scroll down and try to find where that area is in focus. And that's what we're looking for. We're getting close. But there we go. We're getting closer. So you go down until you find that area in the sharpest focus. Like right here. Right here is pretty good. You can see that that's pretty good focus. Alright, you'll come right over here into our messed up spot. And you actually see when I scroll over it, that little line will disappear. And you'll just click on it until it goes away. It's as easy as that. I mean, you can click and drag too. It's not going to change nothing. Just, like I said, just try to make sure to find the most focused area. And you'll go down and get rid of that little stack anomaly. I don't know what causes it. Somebody smarter than me probably knows what's causing it, if somebody's done this longer than I have. But that's it. It's gone. That in Photoshop could have fixed that, but it just takes just a hair more time, and I found that this does a pretty good job at it. There's more of it up here. So this up here, you can look over here, it's not as in focus. So you'll go down until it gets more in focus. You want that spot to be as sharp as you can get it. See, right there is gone. That is the picture that caused the mess up right there. I don't know what happened there. I don't know if the camera shook or what happened, but that was the picture that caused the mess up. Helicon does a pretty good job as if your stack ain't completely, right. Like I said, that was probably a camera shake or I hit the button too fast, one or the other. But it does a pretty good job for compensating. But that is exactly what messed my stack up right there. So we're going to go to this one. It's pretty sharp. And go over here and do the same thing. Find that little line. And I'm just going to color it in. And it'll heal it. Basically, just like the healing brush. It'll take it and fix it right up. And 10 times better. And that's it. But like I said, you can go back in too if you wanted to remember which picture this was that was messed up. And you can go back to render and just delete that picture and then restack it, and that anomaly wouldn't have been there. Whichever one works for you. But that's about all I see in the coil. And you can fix some ghosting with this. To me, ghosting is easier to fix in Photoshop. And I'll show you what ghosting is. That right there. See how the edges ain't sharp between the RDA and the coil? You can fix that in Helicon. but it is 10 times easier to fix in Photoshop for me. And I'll show you why. This right here, this is the last picture where this was the sharpest at. So that right there is in sharp. I mean, you can go in here and get as tight as you want right here and fix that spot. Like I said, it's just as easy in Photoshop. But like I said, you'll find the sharp image. It's gonna be way on down the stack. There she is. But see, this is what causes it. See that little bit of haze right there? Helicon don't know what to do with that haze, so it just ghosted. You may have, I mean, you can tell from this picture that it was sharp. But once this comes in focus, that's what creates you ghosting. No big deal at all. Photoshop will fix it right up. But that's it. Like I said, I'll fix anomalies like that with this, and then I go up here to saving, and then I save it, and then I pull it into Photoshop. Helicon is a awesome little stacking program. Like I said, 10 times faster than Photoshop. Well worth your $55 a month. I think it's $35 if you don't want the remote feature. But I just went ahead and get the $55 one. You never know when you're going to run across an auto macro lens, so I just get the $55 a year when it be done with it. Let's see, here is a Warrior color. I just name my stuff basic. And then save it as JPEG, hide. That's it. Also, some people don't have this issue, but I do, and I know several others do. If I were to just delete these and not close Helicon out, when I come back in and do another stack, it would have like ghost shots in here. It could be a completely different shot that was from a month ago, and it'll pull it out of nowhere for some reason. So I have to delete everything and close the program every time I use it. So who knows? No big deal though. I don't mind closing everything. But that is it. Then I'll pull it into Photoshop, and we've already went over the dust tutorial. You've seen that in the first video that we did on the build page, but we'll be posting up more stuff, and we'll try to get a little more professional at it, or I will anyways. But keep it casual at the same time. But anyways, I appreciate you stopping in. Subscribe to our build page. Follow us on Instagram, 270builds, Country Boy Coles, and we're just check out the whole build team. We'll be trying to update the content, at least keep something up once a week, and we'll go from there. But anyways, y'all have a good day.